Hey campers, Georgia, back in the man cave. Mary and I are having a management meeting. She's sitting there in the manager's chair. Mary. Managing me. We're discussing strategies for next year. I think. She can't concentrate that long, so. Anyway, the main reason I'm here, I wanted to share something with you about Opinels. Let's check it out. Most of you who've been watching my channel know I'm a big Opinel fan. And when I went camping this past weekend, I was showing somebody some of my Opinels that I modified. And we were talking about Opinel, the history of Opinel, how long they've been around, and why are they so popular. Well, I thought about that, and that made me think. And he said to me, what do you see in an Opinel? It's such a plain, ordinary, everyday folder. And yeah, he's right. But let me show you my Opinels. It's not all of them, it's most of them. And what attracts me to an Opinel knife. Everybody's heard of Opinel. They've been around since 18 something. Very little has changed about them. The most unusual thing was they came up with the locking system, that Virolock. And you know what? It works great. Their design lets you play a little bit. I'll show you how I play with my Opinels. For those of you who've been around, you'll recognize a lot of them. Another thing I'll do is I'll put links in the description below to the full videos of how I played with them. So let's check them out. So here I have them all lying out here for you to have a look-see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I have a lot of them. A lot I've given away. I bought some for friends and things like that. My favorite size for me is this guy. And this is the Opinel number 9. And it's the carbon. You can see that. For me, this sits in my hand perfectly. You've all seen my grubbies. I'm all palm and no fingers. And this works perfectly for me. The most popular Opinel right now is this guy, which is the Opinel number 8. And it comes in both carbon and a stainless steel. And you can tell the difference because this one on the blade there, hopefully you can see that, it says Opinel carbon. On the stainless steel, it'll say inox. So, and obviously the steel is different. This is my very first Opinel I ever owned. You can see the difference right away. There's no Opinel on it. So on the handle, it's only on the blade. And this guy was my everyday carry at work for years and years and years. And you can see by the blade, obviously, getting that natural patina in it, which is even greater. It makes it look even better. It has since been retired, and I actually bought a sheath for it. You can see it there. This was a bought sheath. I paid way too much. I think it was the same price as the knife. And that got me thinking about Opinel and sheaths. They never offered sheaths for them. You had to buy them from somebody else. So that's my number 8, my very first Opinel. Love that guy. Then I actually bought the Opinel number 12 Explorer. And that's the one I'm giving away in my 5,000 subscriber giveaway. And it's this guy here. It was so unusual and so different to your regular Opinels that you were getting. When I first started looking at these guys, I noticed that this was the only style that they really had for outdoors or for food prep. They have other knives that they make, But this series was really all that they had and the most well-known. And they came in different sizes. I think it's like 2 through 16. This is an Opinel 12. You can see how big it is compared to the 8. But it was totally different. It was totally something else from Opinel. And as you can see, it doesn't have the wood handle. It has this rubberized handle, really good grip. And it has all these things attached to it. It's actually a survival knife. And there'll be a link in the video. It got my attention and I made a video of it and I went and played with it outdoors. I went on a trudge and looked at it. Turned out to be one of my most popular videos. It took 2 years and then it suddenly took off. It had about 10,000 views. Woke up one morning and it had 80,000 views overnight. Why? To this day, I still don't know. I did land up making a sheath for it and decided that this would be a good knife to give away for my 5,000 subscriber support. And as you can see, Mary's coming along to make sure I have everything in order and it's all safe. That's a shock. Mary, what are you doing? She has to inspect everything. Anyway, back to the Opinels. So, like I said, the 12 was the second one I got. Then I started looking and I noticed they came out with the Colorama series. This is the green. They came out in a bunch of different colors. And this, obviously the green one, and it's the stainless steel inox. And you can see it says inox in that. Other than that, it looks exactly the same. They drilled a hole and added this. And I got one and had a look at that. I really liked it. So I was very pleased with it. It's the same thing except they have painted the handles. Then they came out with these guys. And you can see here, this is a little different. This is a number 8 as well. By the way, you can tell the size by looking on the Virolog out of ferrule here. It'll say number whatever it is. This is the number 8. And you can see it there. And this was something different. And they had a couple of different ones like this. You can see this has a nail nick in it. It's actually used for opening and closing things when you're a mountain climber or you work on a ship or something like that. Look at the blade. Totally different. It has a whistle built into it as well. So it's kind of a survival outdoor style, but a mini version. And it was really designed for a specific use. Then I thought I need to have a look. I thought I wanted to go a little bit bigger. And I went and bought an Opinel number 10. This is it here. In the original, no changes made to it. I am planning on doing some sort of change to it. I just can't decide because it's a little bigger than what I'm used to. Here you see it here. Compare a number 9. There, you can see the difference. And then you look at an 8, and you can see the difference. Slightly bigger, larger, the handle's a little bit bigger. Not a lot bigger, but pretty similar and the same shapes. So I looked at that, I got the 10, and I still haven't decided what I wanted to do with it. But I like the 8, 9, and 10 size. Really worked for me. Then, shopping around, and I discovered this guy. This is my sheath again that I made for it. But an Opinel folding saw. And I've modified it. This guy, I just used it this weekend. You can see I still got to clean it up. And it is a pull cut. So, stainless steel. You can see it there. And I think, yeah, it says pull to cut. And it's a great little saw. Perfect for the pocket. You're doing a walkabout or something like that. An overnight camp. Fold this up, put it in your pocket, and it'll get through most of the things you can need to make a fire. So, pretty cool. The problem I had, I modified the handle. The original handle was the same shape as these. But I had a problem when I was up in the boundary waters, was really wet, and this is a typical problem with Opinel. The wood swells, and what happened, the handle's pretty big, and there is no nail nick in it. You just grab the blade and pull it out. I really struggled to get it out. I even tried the Opinel tap. If you don't know what that is, you turn the Opinel around and you tap the back. You can see how far the blade is in there. A little tap and it releases the blade and you can pull it out. Well, not even that worked. And I landed up actually, one of the guys had a multi-tool and I used the pliers to pull it out. When I got home, the first thing I did was dig out the handle here to give me more grip. And that seems to have taken care of the problem. And then I looked up how to fix those problems when it sticks. And there are 170,000 different ways and ideas to do it. So good luck there. And I made the little sheath with it. Then I had an Opinel where I tried to do a mod on it. And yeah, I messed it up. So I landed up having a spare Opinel blade. This needs to be cleaned. You can see how dirty this is. I decided I wanted to make a puko. I thought that would be a really nice blade for a puko. So I got an old broom handle, cut it off, added these little things to it and put it on the Opinel, made it, extended the tang, and made me a little puko. And of course, I made a sheath for it and put it in there. And that got me into Opinel modifying. And that's the thing that I love most about Opinels. That really got me thinking, and I thought, I'd seen a couple of videos where guys had modded them. They had all these fancy tools and everything, and I'm going, I can't do that. I don't have those tools. My shed doesn't have electricity. And then I thought, why don't I just do them by hand? After all, I'm pretty sure there's people that don't have those fancy workshops. So I thought I'd get an Opinel, and I decided on the number 9s. Thought that would be the best option. So here's my first mod. And you can see how simple a mod I did. And I got to tell you, it was fun doing. And that hooked me. I did make a sheath for it. And if you look at it, I'll pull out the number 9 here for you so you can see. Just did a simple change to it. And I was so impressed, I decided to carry on. There's the original. Here's the mod. See how I changed the handle? And I made, my favorite blade is the drop point. You can see it right there. And all I did was modify the blade into a drop point. Very simple mod, and it hooked me big time. I was like, I've got to do more with this. And I decided I want to think of some sort of blade style and put it on an Opinel. And this was one of the very first sheaths I made. You can see the leather I used wasn't very good. It's going to get a new sheath, and you'll see later on what I'm talking about. Very soft, it's floppy, and it's a little too soft. So what I did next was I made myself a whittling knife. I love to whittle. Any piece of wood, when I'm trudging around, sitting down, sitting still, if there's a piece of wood next to me, I have a knife on me, I'm going to try and whittle it. So I decided to make a whittler, and that made me think, what do I think is the best whittling blade? You can buy fancy whittling and carving tools. I didn't want that. I wanted a favorite blade that I can make, and I decided on a Warrenclyffe kind of sheep's foot. And it's one that I carry on me all the time because it turned out to be a great whittler. Let me get it for you. It's upstairs on my belt. I made a sheath with it, and really, to be honest, I got a little carried away doing it, but the end result I really liked. And I'm going to show you now. I have to do the Opinel tap because it's a little sticky. Oh, I can get it out. Here you can see what I'm talking about. There it is there. Modified the handle, literally cut off almost half of the blade, changed the shape and made it into a Warrenclyffe, almost a sheep's foot. My favorite blade for whittling. Here's the original. You can see what I'm talking about. Yeah. And this was one of the most fun projects I've done. And the knife, my mod knife that I carry the most. It's a great little whittler. Had it with me this weekend. I had a wooden spoon that was the twin of this guy. Very plain, just a wooden spoon that I found in a store. This weekend, while sitting around the fire camping, I did all this. Using this guy. Works great. Up next, and that, then I was on a roll. I don't want to take too long here, so the next one I did was I thought, what's another unusual blade for a folding knife? And I thought, the Tanto. And I'm sure you know there are two blade Tanto types. There's the American Tanto and the original Tanto. I decided on an American simply because it was a little different. Here it is here. And I just made, because it's Japanese, their handles are pretty straight. They don't have curved handles or anything like that. So I straightened it out, put a little dent in here. One of the reasons is that's where the nail neck is. And you can see what I did to the blade. Now, most people think this is a regular Tanto. This is the American Tanto. It has 2 points, one there, one there. This is sharpened, and that is sharpened, which is the American Tanto. Turned out to be another great project. Somebody said, I put these markings on here, kind of Japanese, but somebody actually landed up sending me the correct symbols for 2CG, Second Chance George. So maybe on one of my mods I'll actually land up putting that on the handle. But there you go, a Tanto. I did make a sheath for it, still with that nasty leather. Well, it's not nasty, it works just fine. It's just too soft for me. The difference is I put this on and made it into a neck carry knife. Goes around your neck. And of course, a quick release on it. Then I thought, let's get a little bit deeper into these guys. And I came up with this one. And this one turned out to be a true challenge. I knew it would be. And when I started it, I was in two minds to go, you know what, I don't think I can do it. But I persisted. So here's the original, and here's this one. And you can see what I did. It's a gut hook. So it took quite a lot of modding to do this, and to sharpen this gut hook, I struggled with. Never been very good at sharpening, but this was a good time. And of course, I really started to do a little bit more with the handles, putting this sort of thing. These are actually not discs in there. It's actually what I call my magic dust. I sandpaper a different color wood, get the sandpapered wood out, the little dust from the sandpapering, mix it with a glue, cut a groove in here, put it in there, let it harden, and then, just sandpaper it down. You get that effect, which looks like a disc has been put in there. This was added. This is I believe, it's red oak. And I put a little iron thing on the back here, just because I could, and called it my Opinel Squirrel Hunter. So there you go. Then, I went to a slightly different leather, but it was still too soft. And another change I made to the leather sheath was I made it into a dangler. Figured a guy hunting squirrels is going to be on his hands and knees, and this would keep it in a vertical position when you're on your belt. Here I changed the leather. You can see here, a lot harder and so much better to work with. I knew nothing about leather, and I had to start from scratch to try and figure it out. I looked at how people stitched. Here I started to vary my stitch. This is a baseball stitch, and it gives you a very round pattern on you, which is pretty cool. and just a regular sheath. This mod, I decided to go and try another one of my favorite style of blades is a cookery style. So I had to dig out the blade jar and give it that big belly because the blade wasn't very deep and I didn't have much to play with, but it was close and it gives you an idea of a cookery. Number 9 as well. And I did some stuff to the handle and darkened the wood. The last one that I've done, my latest, was another big challenge. I got a little bit ahead of myself and I actually decided to do a blade shape I'm not fond of. For me as a whittler, it really isn't a very good blade for that. It's really designed for skinning and some, really slicing. You don't do a lot of that in whittling. And I decided on a California clip. You can see it here. And that long clip, it's not a regular clip. A regular clip has a very distinct cutout there. The California clip is way longer. You can see that, almost bowie shaped. And the blade, I had to bring it up here. Initially, I had it too high up here, and a clip doesn't go that high. I had to flatten that out. Then I got into the handle, and I decided I wanted to put a piece of that red oak on again. And when I did that, the handle was too short because the blade stuck out. So I had to put the back on. I reshaped it, just put some little notches in it, and finally got it together and did that same magic dust thing with it. Turned out pretty good in the end, but this was a true challenge. It took me about 4 days. So there you go. That would be why I like Opinels. And yeah, I have another number 9 here. What to do. Got any ideas? In the comments. Come up with a blade shape. I'm looking for something totally out of the ordinary that people will recognize, not just some random shape. I have some ideas and I can always get more Opinels and doing them. They're so inexpensive, $20, and the value you get out of them, you can't beat. I am a carbon guy. A lot of people like stainless. You want to do mods? Stainless steel is way harder than carbon and not as forgiving, but it holds an edge better. I just like carbon, and I don't mind the extra maintenance. So there you go. What I do to my Opinels. These guys. And I'm a number 9 fan because it suits my hand. That's why they have all the different sizes. You'll get to be, to choose your size for you. And like they say, the number 8 has far outsold any other Opinel they've ever sold. And they've been around forever. I will put all the links to those videos down there if you want to check them out. If you haven't seen them before, let me know what you think and if any ideas you have. I'm open to anything. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back again. One thing I forgot to tell you was, on the Opinel number 9, that last sheath I made with the one with the California clip, I found some new leather. In fact, it's so much better. See how hard it is, and it was so much easier to work with. And I decided to change the way I do the sheath, the typical saddle stitch on it, and it has the belt loop. But if you look here on the belt loop, I'll put some stitching there to create another loop. Yeah, you can put it on your neck if you like. So I think this is going to be my standard Opinel type of sheath. And of course, it'll fit any Opinel. Number 9 anyway. Just like that. I wonder if it'll fit the 10. Well, the 10 fits in there. Sticks out a little bit further. But hey, that means I just have to make it a little longer. Woot! With another Opinel, walkabout, another folding knife, a review, something like that. So, who knows? Winter is coming and I'm prepping already for ice fishing. Get a little itchy scratchy about that. Didn't have a lot of chance to go fly fishing this year. The water was so low. We're in the middle of a drought. Yeah, Minnesota. Well, in southern Minnesota anyway. You'll be safe out there, especially with these sharp and shinies, all those different sharp blades and whatnot. Just saying. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.